Good afternoon, everyone. This will be my video lecture in CVN. Now I am back. No? Unfortunately, we had a very busy schedule last week, so I wasn't able to attend my class or classes as scheduled because of so many paper requirements that we have to prepare and submit to PAYAC. So I beg your indulgence that for the almost 2 weeks that I was absent, uh, we will be making up for this sometime in December. So I suppose you should also be ready to attend my classes, the video lecture classes, even after the Christmas break because of the makeup classes that we will be doing sometime in December. Okay. This we have to do because we are also pressured by the outline that we have to follow in compliance with the CHED requirements, rather, no? In compliance with the CHED requirements that we have to finish everything before the semester ends, or at least once the semester ends. Okay? So for now, we continue with our lesson on values. We are still on the topic chapter 1 on values. No? So last time, we talked about the different kinds or types of values. So it's already, I have discussed that the last time. So we have to proceed now so that we'll be taking a lot more during this day. We now proceed on the sources of values, no? The sources. Sources. When we talk of sources of values, sources of values. Well, of course, when we talk of the sources, sources would mean where your values came from, no? Where your values came from, or how come that you have these values in your life. So you may ask, how come that I am very honest? How come that I am very trustworthy? How come that I am very kind? How come that I am very studious, etc., etc.? So these are the values that are inculcated in you, or you now internalize them, because what did we say again about values? These are the general guidelines that you consider very important in your life, no? These are general guidelines that you consider very important because, why are they very important? Because they guide our behavior, no? They guide our behavior. And in guiding our behavior, of course, these are also the yardstick for us to make our choices in life. Choices. That's why we always say, your choice is your destiny. No? There is a saying, something like that. Your choice is your destiny. Well, that is correct. Because whatever happens in your life will have to depend on the choices that you make. Say, for instance, if you want to pursue a degree in college, of course, if you want to pursue a college degree, definitely from this time on, you should have your own set of values on how to be able to reach that goal, no? That's why we go back to what we say, the instrumental values, no? The ones that we have taken last time, instrumental as opposed to what we have called terminal values. Perhaps your terminal value would be to finish a college degree. And how are you going to achieve that? Of course, through your instrumental values. So your instrumental values would be the means, no, by which you achieve your terminal values, which will be your ultimate goal. Clear? You understand? So let us discuss now where your values came from, no? The sources of values that we call. Well, of course, you may point out that the values that you have now were actually formed when? When? When were those values formed? Well, during your childhood. Most of them were formed during your childhood or during the formative years of your life. Correct? Formative years, meaning early in life, no? They were already formed early in life, no? During your childhood days. So the first, of course, if these values were formed during your childhood days, the first source would of course be what? Where do you think your first values came from? Of course, it came from your family. Correct? It first came from your family. And when we talk of your family, of course, we are talking about your father, your mother, your siblings. When we talk of the siblings, your sisters or your brother or brothers, as the case may be. These people are very influential in molding you or in shaping the values that you have. Why is that? Well, because definitely, uh, first is that the Filipino family is a closely knit family. And the child first interacts with the father or the mother, and of course, the siblings of that child. So expect then, if you are interacting with the people around you first, they will be the first source. They will be the uh, source of values first and foremost, no? Because the first people whom you interact with in your environment will have a bearing on how you will shape your behavior or on how you will shape your character or personality. Now, in the Philippine setting, the usual setup in a family is there is a father, there is a mother. But nowadays, there's a lot of single parents. No, there are a lot of single parents, and that is also okay. No, of course, in that scenario, the first person that the child interacts would be the father or the mother, as the case may be. If the father or mother is a single parent, no, so that child would most likely acquire the values from his or her single parent. Okay, that is also okay. But the usual setup is that there is a father, there is a mother, then you have your siblings, no? And these are the people whom the child would first interact and acquire the values, no? The first values, rather, the first values that will be inculcated in your personality or in your character. Now, the second would be, who do you think would be the second? Of course, your friends, no? Or what we call friends, or what we call your peers, no? Peers or friends. That's why in this society, the peers or peer groups are also very, very influential in molding your personality. Once you get out of the family circle, of course, you will also interact with other people, no? And the ones who are very influential too in molding your personality would be your friends. You associate yourselves or you associate yourself with your friends, no? That's why they say birds of the same feather will flock together, because sometimes or most of the time the friends that you have are the ones who will comfort you. They are the ones who would understand you. They are the ones whom you could tell your secrets to. And of course, they are the ones who could perhaps give you the advice that you want to listen to. No, hindi yung you want to listen to the advice of your friends because they are the ones whom they could easily relate to you. No? So your friends or your peers will be very influential also in uh, in your acquisition of values early on in life, no? So the next would of course be what? Aside from peers or friends, usually where do you find your friends or your peers? Well, usually in school, no? In school and elsewhere, perhaps in your neighborhood, no? So the third will be your community or your society where you live, no? The community or society where you live, meaning if the child gets out from the confines of their home or homes, of course he has to associate with other members of the community or society, and these people definitely will also have a bearing on how you will shape your character, on how you will be shaping your personality. Now, the people in the community or the people in your society will have their own set of norms. No, will have their own set of norms. And what are norms again? These are specific guidelines. No, the norms that this society or your society conforms to would be what we call the social norms. And these social norms are very specific. That's why I said. And these specific activities or norms will have to be in congruence with the values of your society or of your community or of your own, no? Of your own family or of your own person, no? So they have to be in congruence, or they have to be consistent with the social norms. No, social norms would be, these are the specific activities or these are the specific things that you do in order for you to manifest the values that you possess or the values that you hold very dear. No, so in short, if you violate the norms that are accepted in society, what happens is that there will be an incongruence and there is a what we call a violation of the social norms. And if there is a violation, of course, sanction will automatically attach. No, punishment or a penalty will automatically attach in whatever form that may be. No, okay. What else would be other sources of your values? Well, of course, very influential also would be school, your school. Because the school itself will also have their own core values. Just like for St. Camillus, we have those values. I'd like you to know what is the meaning of that. The core values of St. Camillus College would be skillful. No, skillful. There's a meaning of that, so I'd like you to know those, the different core values that we exhibit in the community or in society. So S would pertain to what? K would pertain to what? I would pertain. So I'd like you to memorize the core values of the chameleons. Okay? So aside from the school, which is also a very good source of your values during your formative years, would be, of course, aside from school would be, which is very influential now, would be media. No? Now, hindi lang print media or broadcast media, now we have social media. So anything that you do or any reaction coming from other members of your community, they could just pass it on through social media. So you also have to be careful, because the values that you see or the values that are manifested on social media sometimes will not be what? Will not be good for the development of your character, because social media sometimes would be posing a lot of unacceptable behavior. So in posting uh, any anything at all, you have to think first before you click it and post it immediately. Okay, social media is very pervasive nowadays. We cannot do away with social media anymore, especially that everything is done electronically. But you have to be careful in posting any pictures or any item therein, because it might also affect or it might influence other people who believe that what you are posting is also good for the development of their character or for the development of their own behavior. You have to be very careful because this might influence, no, the character of so many people, which in return might have an impact to the society in general, no, or to the community in general. Okay, we are halfway through. For number 6, from aside from media, well, when I say media, I'm talking not only of the social media, I'm also talking about print media, broadcast media like the television or the radio, and all other sorts of media. Okay, so next would be, we are halfway through. Here, after media would be your relatives, no? So it's not only your siblings or your father or mother that will be a source of your values in life. Perhaps your nearest relatives or next of kin would also be a very good source of values, no? Especially so if those relatives are very much endowed with a wealth of experience and they have been exposed to many things in life. Perhaps they would also relate their experiences to you and be able to catch, or you will be able to capture certain values which you think you would also apply in your own life, no? So we are halfway through with the sources of values. I think we have to stop from here. No, these are the sources of values from 1 to 6. I'd like you to read on until we finish about 11 sources of values. But these that I mentioned today are the most important and they are the most pervasive. No, when I say pervasive, it intrudes into your whole being. No, pervasive values. It is commonly there. No, they are the most common sources of values in a person's life. Okay, so we stop from here. I'd like you to know the other sources of values next time because we will be discussing them again. Okay, thank you and good afternoon, everyone.